You know that feeling when you're using an AI tool and you think, wow, this is cool, but what if it could just do this one thing? Well, guess what? That gap between just using AI and actually creating with it, it's getting smaller every single day. So today we're going to break down how you can make that leap. Let's get right into it and see how this all really works. Okay, so AI is pretty much everywhere now, right? It's getting so deeply integrated into our world that some of these experiences, they honestly feel like something out of a sci-fi movie. And I'm not just talking about asking a chatbot for a recipe. We're talking about this seamless, almost invisible intelligence that kind of just knows what we need before we do. And this isn't some made-up scenario. This is a real story. Picture this. You walk into your bank and a clerk smiles at you, already knows your name, and even knows why you're there. Turns out a camera saw you walk in and figured it all out. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's not just a neat trick. It completely changes the game. It really does feel like magic. But of course, you and I both know it's not actually magic, right? It's technology. So how? How do you get from a simple camera and a computer to an experience that feels so personal, so predictive? What is the secret sauce here? What makes it all tick? Well, the secret? It might not be what you think. It isn't always about writing thousands and thousands of lines of complicated code. Not anymore. At least, not for the person who's actually designing the experience. The real power, the real secret, boils down to something way more basic: communication. It's all about learning to speak the AI's language. And that language has a name. It's called prompt engineering. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the art and science of crafting really good instructions or prompts to get the AI to do what you want. And this is the big shift, you guys. The most important skill isn't necessarily traditional coding anymore. It's about being a clear communicator. You're not so much a programmer as you are an instructor. And I absolutely love this analogy. Think of an AI model like a super talented intern. I mean, this intern is brilliant. They've basically read the entire internet. But they are also extremely literal. So if you give them vague instructions, guess what? You're going to get vague results. But if you give them crystal clear, specific, context-filled instructions, bam, you'll get exactly what you were hoping for. Okay, so that's the goal, right? Give great instructions. But how do we actually do that? Well, it turns out there are a few core principles. Basically, rules for talking to an AI that anyone can learn. And once you know them, you get so much better at this. So let's break them down. All right, here are the big five. First, you have to be specific and clear. Vague prompts are your worst enemy. Second, give it context. Tell the AI who to be. Act as a senior copywriter or a travel agent. Third, define the format. You want a numbered list, a JSON object? You gotta tell it. Fourth, use examples. This is huge. Showing the AI what a good answer looks like, sometimes called few-shot prompting, makes a massive difference. And last but not least, number five, iterate and refine. Your first try is almost never your last. And let's just double-click on that last one for a second. Iterating. This is so important. Getting the perfect output from an AI is a process. It's a loop. You write a prompt, you look at what you get back, you tweak the prompt, and you try again. Each time you get a little bit closer. So seriously, don't get frustrated if it's not perfect on the first shot. It's all part of the process. All right, so let's say you've got this down. You're a prompt master. You know how to talk to an AI and get what you want? That's an amazing skill to have. But what's the next step? How do you take that awesome prompt and turn it into a real, actual product, an app that other people can use? This is where a really important mindset shift comes in. A great prompt, one that consistently gets you the result you want, it's not just a cool party trick. It's actually your proof of concept. That's what it is. It's the proof that the main idea for your app actually works. You've just confirmed that the AI can handle the most important part of your app, and you haven't even had to think about coding an interface yet. And in fact, if you look at how an AI app gets made, you can see exactly where this fits in. You start with discovery, figuring out your goals. But then step 2, the proof of concept. That's all about prompting. That's where you validate your whole idea. Once you've got that prompt nailed down, then you can confidently move on to actually building the rest of the app and getting it out into the world. Now, as you start to build, you're going to run into a big decision. Where does the AI actually live? Does the thinking happen right on the person's phone? That's great for speed, security, and working offline. Or does it happen in the cloud, giving you access to the most powerful, cutting-edge models? There's no one right answer here. It really just depends on what kind of experience you're trying to build. Okay, We've talked about the magic, we've talked about the method, prompting, and we've talked about the process of building. But now we get to the absolute best part, the part that really truly closes that gap between being a user and becoming a creator. Because the tools to do all of this, they're finally here, and they're for everyone. And honestly, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. You do not need to be a traditional coder anymore to build powerful AI apps. It's true. Thanks to all these incredible no-code and low-code platforms, you can literally build the whole thing, the user interface, the back-end connecting to the AI, often just by dragging and dropping. The most critical skill has shifted. It's not about the code, it's about your idea and your ability to explain that idea in a great prompt. And we're not talking about simple little toys here. I mean, you can build a custom AI writer using the latest models, or your very own chatbot that works just like Chat GPT. You could build an image generator, an avatar creator, or even an app that lets you chat with a PDF. These are seriously powerful, useful applications, and they are totally within reach for you to build right now. No computer science degree needed. Look, the walls are coming down. The barriers that used to keep people from creating software are just disappearing. We are right at the beginning of this massive tidal wave where the power to build smart apps is being handed to everyone. The tools are there, the AI models are insanely powerful, and really the only thing left that's holding anyone back is their own imagination. So that really just leaves one last question, doesn't it? Now that you see the path, from just having an idea, to crafting the right prompt, to actually building a real app, what are you going to build?